And it was kind of inconvenient because when presidential motorcades are crazy. They shut down the whole city, and you can't park your car on the street. And I'd have to run out in the snow with my pajamas on to get my car before they towed it away because they'd say the president's coming today, and they never told you, right? They didn't tell you what time he's coming or anything. But one day I saw his big motorcade come down, and I was kind of proud. I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, okay, look at this black man rolling presidential. How cool is that? And he literally had I counted the number of cars and vehicles. There were like 37 vehicles in the motorcade. It was the craziest thing I ever saw. I saw two limousines. I remember seeing a bunch of motorcycles, two ambulances, a couple of fire trucks, big SUVs with guys with AK-47s hanging out the windows, ready to, ready, just waiting for you to start something, right? And it was amazing. It was amazing. But anyway, so I think that Roland Martin rise, when he ended up on CNN for a little while until I guess whatever happened, they parted ways. That was connected to the rise of the Obamas, right? So sometimes every now and then you will see the life of a black person improve because of who's in office, but that typically occurs, unfortunately, for a certain small number of elite or very lucky individuals, right, who are in certain spaces. That does not happen for the masses. That does not happen for the rest of us. So the big question would be, in my view, what happens to the rest of us? What are we going to do for the masses? Give me a yes or no. Have you seen any example where the masses of black people have just their wealth has dramatically increased because somebody new got elected to the White House? Don't make it a Democrat or Republican thing. Just either party, Democrat or Republican. Have you ever seen a time where black wealth suddenly just shot up by 20% or something because of a certain person that was in office? Has that ever happened? I can't think of a time like that. And if there is one, then let me know. But I could be wrong. But I've never seen that before. So what I think about is not so much the football game of Democrat versus Republican. Again, I always tell you I don't care who you vote for because I don't believe it's going to make a difference. Honestly, we had a Trump presidency. The black folks that were struggling under Trump were probably still struggling under Biden. The ones who were doing well under Trump were still doing well under Biden. And that's because there's two types of variables. When we would write research papers on finance back when I was in grad school and at Syracuse, there were two types of risk, if you will, and they were also defined as two types of factors that could drive the value of an asset. There were two factors that would drive. By the way, somebody says they can't hear me. Renard says he can't hear me. Can everybody hear me? Give me a quick yes and let me know you can hear me. I want to make sure I'm coming through okay. Okay, I'm sorry, Renard. Somebody say something to Renard in the chat that maybe he's got to turn his computer up or something like that. All right, so basically, there will be two variables when the stock price moves. And you think of yourself like a stock, right? When you're doing well, your stock price is high. When you're struggling, your stock price isn't as high as it was before, right? So all of us can be valued as a stock. There are equations I could show you right now that would value your economic potential just like you value a stock. All financial assets in the universe are valued under similar equations. It's called the present value of an annuity equation. You just shift out the variables and you get different numbers. So when we study stock prices and we look at what changes the value of an asset, what moves it, well, there are a couple of types of variables, a couple of categories. One was what they call a systematic factor. That's broad. That affects everybody. That's the rising tide that supposedly lifts all boats. That's the economy. When the economy does bad, a lot of people's economic situation goes down because everybody's struggling. The Great Depression led to a lot of people struggling, although there were some people who did not struggle, right? And that gets to the second category in terms of factors that can move a stock price. And that second set of factors will be what they call idiosyncratic. Now, idiosyncratic factors, let me explain what that means. You'll get this in 1 second. Don't be intimidated by the word at all. Idiosyncratic pretty much means stuff that relates to you specifically. For example, for a stock, an idiosyncratic factor might be who the CEO is, how good the sales team is, how hard the employees are working, how smart the executives are at making decisions. Just things like that, right? That's why certain companies can all be in the same industry. Some will struggle, some will do well because of the idiosyncratic factors. So what we find in the research when we study stock prices, I promise I'm bringing this back to you. What we find when we study stock prices is that the systematic factors are certainly important. The systematic definitely matters, but it's really the idiosyncratic factors that make the difference. It's the specific stuff, company specific information that matters the most. That's why Martha Stewart went to prison and has to do TV shows with Snoop Dogg because she had company specific idiosyncratic information about a particular company and traded on that information, which is illegal. Okay. So the same way that this applies to stock, This also applies to you. The same way that I can use the same argument to talk about the valuation of a stock price, I can use this to evaluate your quality of life and what your wealth level is. We can use the exact same analogy, exact same equation, exact same logic, exact same everything. So my question to you would be this: look, and this is where I end up probably upsetting some people because I say things that they're not used to hearing. I guess when it comes to politics, is I say, yeah, politics is systematic. That does matter. And you can do what you want to do with that. But what really is going to make the difference in terms of where you end up financially and economically is what you do. It's the choices you make. That